designed to help our bodies find that balance. A lot of us get out of balance and we need help, and this is what it can do. It supports our health and wellness, and we don't need a lot of extra time to do that because you simply put on a patch and live your life. No complicated routines and no plugs needed, because we are the light source for this amazing patch technology. Now, LifeWave and its brand partners do not claim to diagnose, prevent, treat, or cure any medical condition. And we will be hearing from various members of our community about how this technology has touched their lives and what experiences they have had while on the technology. Now, we do love to highlight the X39, which is the patch of all patches, our favorite patch to speak on worldwide. And so these technologies we'll be talking about are incredible. And the X39 and all the light technologies from LifeWave are a wearable light technology in the form of a patch. Now, in the center of the patch is a crystal structure, all organic compounds. And what you do is you place the patch on your body or within 3 inches of your body. Our body heat activates that center crystal structure, and it takes in our light and reflects it back to us in a specific wavelength. When we talk about the X39 specifically, that wavelength activates or signals our body to produce a peptide called GHK copper peptide. And that is an amazing protein that we already have in our body naturally, but over time it decreases, so we feel the benefits of it less and less over time. Look it up. Go ahead and research GHK copper peptide for yourself, and you'll learn why we rave so much about it. So it does reflect our light back to us, and that's why I say we are the light source for this patch technology. It is non-transdermal, which means nothing is going into your body except the signal from the patch. And so a few housekeeping rules. When you share, please click that reaction button, the little heart icon on the bottom, raise up your virtual hand, and share your story. But please use symptoms only, no diagnosis name, so we are remaining compliant. Tell us how you felt before the patch technology, what patches you used, and how you feel now that you have experienced the patches for yourself. And as many people, if you can, raise up your hand so you can share your amazing stories, because we all love to hear about it. Thank you, Michael.
Thanks, Dr. Annabelle. It was fantastic. And we have a guest speaker today. I want to invite him in, Dr. Tom Acklin. Welcome, and thanks for coming on.
Hey, Mike. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Thanks for having me.
So you got some results that you want to talk about tonight?
Oh, you want me to talk, do you?
Yeah. It's like I heard you got some good results last night you were talking about. So yeah, share them with us here. Appreciate it.
Well, Tom was sharing. I'm going to save you a little bit, Tom, because I'm the one that called, so I don't want to put you on the spot. He shared Roxanne said about the X39 and 49 and how they work synchronistically together. And I think, that was what she was hoping, we were hoping you might share. Or whatever.
Yeah, be careful what you ask for.
Oh, well.
Can I give everybody I'll try to keep it to 90 seconds background, but I haven't written a prescription in 20 years plus. Was trained as a neurologist and leaning towards the autoimmune world, MS world, and really stuck in this for that thinking, really stuck in, wow, isn't it cool that a chemical from outside the body can change the neurotransmitter fingerprints of the brain, right? I was an undergrad when they were coming out with the first SSRIs, and I thought I was going to go into neural mechanisms of neuroscience or maybe even psychiatry. And then I got lost, and then I got on a conveyor belt and got handcuffed the way so many practitioners do. And I love Annabelle's intro about patch up and love your life. Just as an inkling of I can be a troublemaker here. So just as an inkling of shaking up the snow globe, since I know Mike's community here, and what if it was okay that you didn't love your life, right? And that's a lot of what these technologies do. Is we're in a space right now where for the past couple of generations we've been slaughtered with toxins. We've been slaughtered with infrared. We've been slaughtered with plastics. We've been slaughtered with junk. And the healthy, thriving, regenerative body that's used to using fat as a fuel source doesn't use fat as a fuel source anymore. It's driven by cortisol and high stress and sugar. And that's why if you're here because somebody has told you you have a disease that you're not going to get rid of, think again. And I like to say, if you didn't come out of mama with it, it's not a disease, it's a condition. And it's usually a condition of the modern day. And it's a lifestyle, almost always a lifestyle, because that's what we were sold. So without preaching too much about that, I'm way past my 90 seconds, but the pain of putting on the patch is actually sometimes a gift, right? The body, as Annabelle was pointing to, every cell in the body has a song it's singing. There's a particular frequency to the organ. There's a particular frequency to every cell in the body. And in the space where we're actually regenerating, hopefully what the body's saying tomorrow is going to be different from today. And I don't know how I've deluded myself today, but it's an interesting invitation to take on. How am I in the dark, and what have I been hiding from, and where's my opportunity for growth and development? Yeah. So some people do put on the patch and start feeling amazing. I was lucky enough to have taken very nice care of myself for the 15 years before I learned of X39, and that came through a personal growth and breakaway as well from my traditional thinking. It had to come through my own personal crisis, and I won't go into that, but I decided to take care of myself. And then little by little, over the years, I went from a mid-40s, 60-year-old doc who looked like he was, mid-40s, who looked like he was 60, gray hair, obese, miserable, going through a divorce, etc. And little by little started taking care of myself. So this is, it's not a one patch and done. Like, please, if you're new here, just be here in a year. Just stay here. It gets better and better all the time. And as a rule of thumb, we like to say, give it a month for every decade of life. But really, give it a year or 2 or 3, and we're probably going to hear a bunch of really great stories here tonight about folks who have continued to see benefit. So, like I said, I was already in really nice shape, thank God. Had a very strong yoga practice. I was athletic. I was a skier. I love sports. And it really didn't need anything. I had a great sleep life. I put the X39 on because of a friend who I trusted quite a bit. And if it hadn't been her, I wouldn't have said yes, but longtime colleague and friend who shared this with me. And almost immediately I was noticing better strength in my yoga practice and sleeping more deeply, remembering my dreams nicely. And little by little over the years, I think it was about a year in, that I saw my zipper scar because I had open heart surgery for an aortic valve replacement years back, and my scars started to fade. I have many stories. Maybe I'll stop talking here and pipe up later. But consistency is a game. I used X39, and then I fell in love with the technology, and I fell in love with David Schmidt and the science. And not just the legacy of the company, but the future of the company, and his ethic and who he is as a man and a scientist. And so just take a deep look. Why don't we not talk too much more about that, Jen? Is that okay, Mike? And then we'll hear some stories. And if you want me to pipe up later, I can. But
yeah, if you feel motivated, just pipe in and cover anything that pops up that interests you. Sure. Yeah, we appreciate that intro. That's great. And you're right on as far as staying on the patch. Give it a year. See where you're at. Stay with us. Keep playing with the patch and see what happens to your body. I mean, you're a great example. You're saying you felt great. There was nothing wrong with you, but you tried it, and then things started improving on top of what you thought was already great. That's the way it was for me as well. So I know a lot of people have watched me for, 5, 6 years, solid, always watching, yet they still aren't on the patch. It's just, some people, I don't know what it takes, but, great intro. Thank you so much, Dr. Tom Ackland. Deb, looking forward to hearing from people. So Deb, jump in. Okay, get it? All right, let's move over to Dr. Annabelle.
Dr. Kathy has her hand raised before me, so if Dr. Kathy wants to go next, and then I'll go after her.
Kathy.
Hello, LifeWave community. I've got some pictures that I sent Roxanne yesterday about a gentleman who had injured his fingers on a grill. I don't know if you've got those pictures ready to go, Roxanne, but we saw some amazing healing. Whoa. When she showed me that, I didn't get too many details, but I'm thinking, ouch, that hurt. So 2 days. Keep scrolling. Okay. 2 days later, X39.
Wow.
Yeah. So that is the power of that patch. Just amazing, amazing healing capabilities here.
Yeah, the wound healing is just phenomenal with the patch. It's absolutely amazing.
It never fails to amaze me. But anyway, that is an amazing. So just think, if it did that on the outside with that type of injury, just think about what it's doing on the inside to every little itty bitty thing that you need to have taken care of, from skin to every tissue, gland, and organ. We are getting repair, whether you can feel it or not. It is happening.
Fantastic. Great share. Thank you. Terry.
Hi. I have a personal testimony to give. I have to admit, I did not go to the dentist for 5 years. Don't be mad at me, Dr. Kathy. So I put it off. My dentist had changed and just kept putting it off. Well, the last time I went 5 years ago, I had, my gums were bleeding, and as you age, your gums recede. And I had lateral veneers put on as a child, and I could see my original tooth and everything. So I finally went to the dentist, and I knew my gums had gotten better once I started to patch and I had less bleeding and everything, but I didn't think too much of it. Things just get better when you patch. So I went last week, and I get in the chair, and the lady who cleans the teeth looked in my mouth. She goes, "Wow, you got some healthy teeth." And I'm like, "I do." And I didn't tell her my issues before. And she goes, "Yeah." And so then they took the bite wing x-rays, and I'm looking at the screen. I'm like, "Yeah, they do look kind of healthy." And then she says, "You have no bone loss." And she goes, "At your age?" I said, "You don't have any caps. You have nothing going on." And I'm like, "Okay." And so then she cleans the teeth, and she goes, "It's been 5 years." And I go, "Yeah, it's been 5 years." And she goes, "You hardly have any plaque." And I'm like, "Okay." And so I proceeded to tell her my history, and she's like, "How does that happen?" And I said, "What did you do?" And I had to tell her what I did. And so she was totally amazed. Then she went to go measure the gums. Well, I had gum issues, and everything was normal. I had all ones and twos in the depth of the gums, and I had a couple threes in the back, which was normal. She says, "That's unbelievable at your age." And I'm just like, "Okay." And so I told her the story and sending her doc talk. So we'll see. And I says, I give credit to X39 because I had gum issues actually my entire life. I noticed every time I had bleeding issues and stuff like that. But as soon as I went on X39, that just all went away. And the gums came back down, and it's like, you don't see that.
Wow.
Incredible.
That's incredible. Were you doing any kind of different cleaning than you normally were, or just everything the same, or?
Everything's the same.
Wow.
And I'm guilty. I'm not the daily flosser, so if they could have a nickel every time they heard that, I'm sure. But yeah, nothing different except
Other than patches.
other than patches.
That's fantastic. That's a great story.
Mhm.
I've met so many people that have, unbelievable stories about, using a patch on, problems they have with the mouth. So Dr. Kathy, I'm glad we have her on board. She can, answer those questions sometimes when we have them. Thanks, Terry. That was a great share.
Thanks.
Luis.
Hi.
Hi.
So I've been on the patches for like 6 weeks now, and definitely feel like the mental clarity. And my sleep is much, much deeper, where I'm like dreaming, and just overall more energy. So far, so good.
Yeah. Congratulations. That's good. I look
Thanks.
forward to more success in the future. It'll come. Thanks. Dr. Annabelle.
Hi again. So I have a good friend who happens to be my CrossFit trainer. And so he owns the gym where I go to, and he is also a firefighter. So he's in his mid 30s. So lots of wear and tear on the body, right? Those are very heavy duty activities. And I had introduced the patches to him, and he did have an immediate effect. He had some shoulder pain. I put X39 and LifeWave, and he said, wow, immediately I felt the pain relief. Great. So he jumped on board. He got the patches. He used them inconsistently. You can't get results if you use them inconsistently. And so I tried to hone that in several times. Several months later, I was at the gym. He was complaining about back pain. I put on LifeWave, and instantly the back pain was gone. Like it was so priceless to watch his face as he was walking into the gym after I patched him. And he was like in disbelief. I can tell the wheels were turning in his head. And it was like, did I imagine having the pain? Because it's gone. So I talk to him regularly. I see him regularly when I go to the gym, and I enforce how amazing these patches are. So he purchased some more X39, and luckily for him, he got the shipment just as he was experiencing some knee pain. He said the knee pain was aggravating. It was 7 out of 10 pain. He put the X39 on the knee. Within minutes, the pain went to a 1 out of 10. So he is one of those amazing people who is a rapid responder. And I just have to hone in that fact to everyone. It works. It works when you use consistency. And it is amazing that the benefits are there and we have this at our disposal. So use them and use them daily. So that was the story. I'm hoping that this will be a continual reinforcement of how amazing this stuff is. And all he has to do is put on a patch.
Fantastic. And, staying on the patch so that when you do get injuries, they're a lot less effect. You just recover from them so fast. It's very good.
Exactly.
Thanks, Dr. Annabelle. Patrick.
Well, hello, everybody. I'm very excited to be here. I've been on the patches for since January 8th, so almost exactly 2 months. And, I'm 67 years old. I had a heart bypass operation, a sixth bypass operation in 2019. I feel like I'm still recovering from that. But since I've been using the patches, I've been super motivated to exercise. And I have a rowing machine. I do it 30 minutes a day now. I also do push-ups every other day. I'd never done push-ups before. And now I'm up to 17 push-ups. And I looked it up today, and somebody my age doing 17 push-ups is not very common. So I was really surprised because I have no problem with it and it feels great. And I'm now a brand partner, and I got my new patches today, X49, Ion, and Alavida. And I'm very excited to start using those. I do dream work with other people and my own dream analysis. I've done that for my entire adult life. And I'm excited for anything that will help me have deeper sleep and better dreaming. So I've heard that too, other people saying that. So that's about it. I'm just super excited to be promoting the product and continuing to learn about and experience all the wonderful results.
Yeah, fantastic. And great share. And yeah, look forward to your success in the future, Patrick. Hopefully you get some people that are inspired and move up. That'd be great.
Thanks.
Deb, you want to try it again? Got to hit that unmute button.
While she's trying to unmute, and Mike, feel free to make me co-host if you want, and I can handle some housekeeping and Mike's and that kind of thing. But as far as let me pipe in with a quick healing story too. I had some unexpected head trauma just 9 weeks ago, just before New Year's, and staples in my scalp, 8 staples in my scalp. And I knew I was a very quick healer already after having used these technologies and seeing many different kinds of wounds heal dramatically and quickly. Luckily, I had never had one that looked like Dr. Kathy's friend there, quite that severe, but I've had some pretty severe stuff. And I like to take some risks with my body here and there, and every once in a while, life happens. Anyway, the normal staple removal protocol was 10 to 14 to 17 days. And so I requested that they do that in 10 days. And they scheduled me. And so when they went to take out the staples in the clinic, they couldn't do it. And the nurse didn't want to go. And I said, go ahead, just do it. I'll push through it. So they had to send me to the ER. And the doc in the ER was fantastic, and he said, well, no, I really want to, I want to anesthetize you. I said, don't worry about it. Just do it. And so he did it, and I didn't want the anesthetic, and I didn't want that. But that was an eye-opener for me as well, that, even healing in half the normal time, it was even more profound. And without going into details, my scalp was quite tender for many weeks post-concussive, and they said it could be 3 to 6 months, and I'm perfectly fine today.
Wow.
Scratch and shampoo and the whole thing.
Very good. Wow. That's amazing. So, it's always better when the doctor tells you, because people hear us talking about it, they're like, yeah, maybe. But when the doctor says, it's like, oh, you couldn't believe us? Come on. So that's great share. Appreciate it. Jen.
I am going to do a share for I got Debbie Ellis. She couldn't be on the call today. She's recovering from, she says, a very strange flu. And I'm hearing that from a lot of people. They're getting this flu that's not COVID, but it's strange. But anyway, that's aside. She wanted to mention something that everybody needs to hear. Barbara Lippincott, are you still on? Because it's about you.
Yeah, she's here.
She said, Barbara Lippincott suggested trying, and I think it was probably on one of the Sunday night shows, trying X39 on the ball cap along with other patches to address a headache. Due to my scalp becoming inflamed, I placed an X39 on the middle with glutathione and eon on each side of the X39 with a cap. I promise you, if your scalp feels sunburned, wearing the cap as directed for a headache works. Plus, with the X39 on top, it worked and I got immediate relief. Thank you, Barbara and Jennifer. So I thought that was very sweet. And Barb, you help another person here. I did have a share, and I can't even remember what it is. So I'm going to let Dr. Annabelle go forward, and I still hope we can get the Deb Goatforth on. Deb, keep working on your thing. Thank you.
Dr. Annabelle.
I have another share Chris reminded me of. So it's a mutual friend of ours. And so he was also introduced to the patch by Chris. He had some elbow pain and Chris put the ice wave on his elbow, and he too was very quick to respond. And his first words out of his mouth is said, "What is this, witchcraft?" So it was quite comedic, but he too was a quick responder. And a couple of, over the summer, he was complaining of back pain. I gave him an X39. He put it on and instant relief. He was just here visiting yesterday, and again complaining of a back pain, despite having seen his doctor and had some procedure to address this back pain. He was still having it, and he put an X39 at the C7, and he said he had this instant cooling sensation, and he felt the pain start to dissipate. And it's amazing how quickly he responds. But he also described it, and I wonder if anybody's ever had this experience, that he felt like the patch was being magnetized to his body. Like he felt the energy that strongly. He responds really well to the patch. So he is on the patches, but he too is inconsistent. And so we're preaching to them, and we're trying to explain to them how consistency is key. And he knows the value of it. They know the value, but they forget about the consistency piece. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So that's interesting. Magnetized.
Yes, I think that they are magnetized. Here, I'll pop off for a second. I remember when we were using them in the very beginning, and we would use them like with the colors for the chakras, like for Reiki, because they would just match up. Because we didn't know we were doing, we were playing. And then as we learned more about them, but I remember a couple of times taking the paper off the back and it just going like, but that doesn't go there. And we would just say, just leave it. It obviously needed to go there. So I agree with them being magnetic towards your body like that. I just think
very
they're
good.
awesome.
Thanks, Tracy. Lynn.
Oh, I love this conversation. So I have my top 3 shares, but I've got like 20, 25 more, because our community is on fire with feeling better with the patches. So first of all, I have a customer who's had trouble with her eyes for years and years. And as a matter of fact, she's been on those regular eye shots that the eye doctors tell you that you have to keep getting or you'll go blind. So she'd been doing that for a long time, and she started on the patches, X39 and Eon 6 months ago. Never even thought it would help her eyes because the doctor had said she would always have this condition and need these shots till the day she died, or she would go blind. So she just thought that that was the reality. And 6 months into the patches, she goes back to the eye doctor, and her eyes are fine. No more injections needed, 20/20 vision. And she's just, over the moon with excitement because she had no idea that the technology was capable of doing that. And she has her life back.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, it's amazing. And, Terry talked about gum lines before. So I have another customer that had gone to a gum line specialist, and her score was a 6. And like Terry said, 1 to 3 is considered normal. And that was 6 months ago. She's been on the patches for 6 months, and she purchased the premium kit. So she has quite a bit of patches. And so she went back to the this gum line specialist because her gums were so bad. She went past a dentist and to a specialist. And he didn't look at her chart before he measured her gums, and they were a 5. So in 6 weeks, she'd gone from a 6 to a 5. So we can figure that she'll just keep getting better and better until her gums will be like Terry's, just perfectly fine. How exciting. Because that's a major big deal. She said the surgery to take care of that was expensive and painful. I can't imagine what they would do. But all we need is our little patch. No drugs, no chemicals. And compared to surgery, it's like what, the price of a cup of coffee a day?
Incredible. Yeah.
Amazing. And then also I have a lot cheaper. Yeah. And not to mention time away from work. And then all the pain for the healing process, because anything around the teeth is one of the most painful areas that you can have. So imagine getting your gums cut up and how horrific the pain would be. No pain meds. Yeah, so a lot of savings. She's excited. I'm happy for her. And then I also have a customer that she's had those restless dancing legs, and we've all heard about dancing legs. And there was no end in sight. She'd had them for 2 decades, had just come to the resolved herself that she would always have this problem. It's very debilitating. It keeps you from living life to the full because your legs are always moving. And she's been on the patches for 2 months and entirely gone. The movements, they're completely gone. And she is shocked and amazed and grateful and has her life back. And that's the story with, 2 of these 3 shares tonight. These people have their life back. They have their life back again. And everyone that I'm talking about, they're in their 60s and 70s, and it's renewed life. And that's what we do.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah, getting your life back. Yeah, it's huge. No doubt
Yes.
about it.
Yeah.
Or having it taken away when you have to get surgeries and so forth, and then you have to recover. It's tough.
Exactly. Not with our patches. No more.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Roxanne.
Okay, Michael, I have Deborah Goforth on. She's going to share she's on my phone. She's going to share her story. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Go ahead, Deborah.
All right. Thank you, Roxanne, for letting me piggyback off you. I hope everybody can hear me okay.
Gotcha.
Yep.
You can hear me? Okay, wonderful. I wanted first to thank Dr. Tom for what he said, because I have a plethora of conditions and symptoms, but what I wanted to talk about tonight was a facial nerve pain that I've had for many, many years, and took medication for a long time, anti-seizure medication for that, and then the last thing, they did a procedure to put a scar over the myelin sheath on the trigeminal nerve in my face to stop some of the pain. It's kind of like being tased, having taser bolts in your face and somebody pulling the trigger. But I started using the X39, and I had listened to Connie in one of the previous podcasts, was talking about taking the X39 and rubbing it over scars, because it helped open up the scar so that the energy could flow through those areas that had the scars on them. And of course, it made me think about the scar on the nerve in my face. And I tried that, and I was worried because I was afraid that this opening this up would cause the pain to come back. And so I was really kind of scared about doing that. But I've been doing that all week, and I am very happy to say that I haven't had any pain in my face, and it kind of helped alleviate the after effects even from the procedure that was done, which was kind of numbness in my face and stuff. I have feeling in my face, and it doesn't hurt. So that was what I wanted to share.
Wow, that's incredible.
Beautiful.
Yeah, the nerves in the face and the teeth and so forth, they're pretty sensitive. It's one of the torture devices they use in some places, where they'll drill into the teeth and then start hitting the nerve. So it's if you can overcome that pain, obviously, it's like, or if you're having that pain, it's almost like being tortured. A lot of people say that. So overcoming that pain with any means that you can use is fantastic. So just using a patch to stop that pain and reverse that pain and completely, have healing is absolutely incredible. It is absolutely a miracle that happens for people with the patch. So thanks for sharing, Deb. Appreciate it.
Can I pipe in on that? Can I pipe in on that, Michael?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Probably a good time to let people know who are new to the technology or just taking a look. This might sound a little loopy, but there's something much faster than nervous conduction. And, we're still stuck in biochemistry. And these are technologies that work on the light fields in the body. And we have done the clinical trials on acupuncture points because now it's been known, doctors still don't speak this way, but it's been known for 20 years plus that the meridians are not just energy, they are actually material. So nanocollagenous streams and much faster conductors of the minerals and the repair steroids and the salts that your body needs at the target tissue. And so you open up the meridians, and you've opened up a delivery mechanism that's much faster than nerve, much faster than our chew it, swallow it, absorb it, get it to the bloodstream. That's old school. It really is. And it doesn't mean that stuff's not important. It's obviously there, and we obviously have our digestive organs for a reason. But the future of medicine is very clear, and LifeWave is on the cutting edge. David Schmidt at some point will win a Nobel Prize. And what's coming down the road is absolutely stunning. And I like to let people know we're going to look back on these years, this past 100 years, and say, how did we ever let that happen? How did we ever let biochemistry and big pharma take over? And that's just my personal view. I'm not speaking on behalf of that's not LifeWave's view. But just as an aside, I know where this company's going, and part of the future of this planet, if I could be hyperbolic for a second and get up on a bandbox, is dependent on community and dependent on people telling their stories, just like we do here. This is a pay it forward mechanism, and it's not necessarily for the person who needs to hear it. The telling of the story is actually part of the healing. And we've heard about scars. Scars are the body saying, no, I can't do that right now, right? What if you really did have the vitality to meet life on life's terms and do it right now, whatever it is? If it's an emotional trauma, if it's a physical trauma, and right now it's a social trauma, and everybody, spin the wheel and take your pick as to what issue you want changed on the planet. This business model is going to change that issue. That's just an exercise for all of us to explore, which is, take a look at the thing that you think is most important to you. It might be family, it might be community, it might be tribe, it might be nation state. And whatever that issue is, network marketing has a bad name in some circles, but here with this kind of a compassionate community and pay it forward community, this business model done well, which is what David's doing inside his personal ethic and inside his scientific ethic, is in my world salvational, and that's why I'm here to stay.
Wow, that's fantastic, Dr. Tom. Thanks. So yeah, it's almost
thanks for letting me get on the van box too.
Yeah. So it's it's fantastic.
You know what that's like.
Yeah, I've been there.
You've been there a couple times.
Couple times. It's a couple. But it's almost like you talk about these meridians and so forth. They're almost like portals of energy coming through. It's pretty cool. Terry.
I wanted to talk about, I've been helping people for a while now. And when I first talk to people over the phone and I hear their voices and hear what's going on, they tell me their problems and everything. From the time I start talking them, and as time goes on and they're patching, and then it's like 6 months later, it's like I'm talking to a totally different person in a positive way. Like this one gentleman really sticks out is when he started the patches. I told him, well, we started out with X39, but I said, we do have a patch that can calm you down and, helps with inflammation and whatnot. And he's like, really? I need that. And his mind was like a squirrel. I mean, it was like boom, 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 very hyper, very like unsettled. And he says, I have a very stressful job and whatnot. And I said, okay. So when I talked to him this past weekend, I'm like, wow, he's calm, he's collected. And I said, what a change. He goes, yeah. He says, I chilled out. And it was a consistent use of Eon at night and X39 in the day. And he says, I can't believe it. I feel like my mind has finally settled. And it's just amazing that, you see the progress of these people that you work with and such a dramatic change. It's wonderful to go on the journey with them because it's like you get to witness this and see hear their miracles and everything. And so that's a big thing. And same thing with our memory people that I work with. The people that, you know, are suffering from memory that slips all the time. And when they start to months later, it's like a whole different conversation than when we began the program or whatever, the patching. So it's just something I wanted to say. It's just like, it just changes everybody in a positive way and balances you out in such a positive way that I can't even express, that I can even pick up even if I don't see them.
Wow, that's a really good insight and point. So we're seeing that the brain, you know, has different hemispheres, you know, the masculine and feminine, the analytical and the intuitive side. So it seems like the patches are helping people, you know, bridge those aspects of the brain, because you see a lot of people that are one or the other, and they're a little bit too far out there, or they're just too stuck in whatever, you know, they can't, you know, see outside a box. So that's some of the things I think, you know, you bring up a great point, that people are expanding and they're calming down. And that's because they're, you know, accessing both sides of the brain now, I think. So that's brilliant. Thank you. Evelyn.
There, am I unmuted now?
Yes.
Hi, Michael and everybody.
Hi.
Well, do you remember the moon is the horse mistress? They talked about grokking things.
Yep.
Oh, my video's off now. I don't know why did it go off. It was on there. Okay, sorry. Well, I really started to grok Dr. Acklin, and in the beginning I didn't at all, I want to admit. You know, the first few times I heard him, like on the Sunday thing and all, but as a former mental health provider and someone who became a hands-on healer very early in that process, I totally understand what he's saying about the difference between the speed of light and the speed of sound. And I got to where I explained those kinds of things to patients, but not near as well as he just did. But you know how you want to get better yourself. And after 10 months now, you know, I'm one of those that has to be patient, because I'm not a one patch wonder, other than the fact the first month I did get rid of the 4 pounds of water that was living in my feet. And that's been wonderful to not have that foot edema. But other than that, just little things, you know, but I've always healed fast. I've always had a good immune system and stuff. And I never took the, you know what, and so, but I did when I was young, I didn't know, you know, I was still a nursing student when I had my son, and then they put me on high dose Anavid, which was the birth control pill in the 60s. And after 7 years, I went off and used an IUD. And within a few months, I was having all these crazy symptoms that started at my toes, and I got numb clear up to almost my chin. And I guess you know, I'll say GB syndrome, because Dr. Acklin knows what that is, but they couldn't figure out what I had. And they finally told me I had MS, and they were 80% sure. But it wasn't. What it was is they didn't bother to tell us when they were doing drug research on those of us that started the pill first, that it destroyed your B vitamins. And so one of my friends used to have me give her a vitamin shot at work. And so she gave me one. And the next day I woke up to the alarm for the first time in months. My husband looked at me like I was from Mars. And so I started taking B vitamins, and then suddenly I could be awake again, you know, and have more energy. And never did all of the numbness go away. Just little parts of it stayed. But, you know, I'm tough, and if I can even, you know, walk on something that's hurting. So I never let it stop me. But I'm wondering if that's maybe what's retracing why nothing seems to show except small things in the last few months. Because I'm healthy. I've been on Sunrider herbs since 1991. My gums are healthy. I don't ever have to have a cleaning and all that. So I guess that maybe that's what's going on, is that neurological damage that the damn Enovid pills did to me. Maybe that's what the body's having to work on, and maybe that's a retracing that's going on. But anyway, what Dr. Ackland was saying about the difference between I never occurred to me that it was the meridians that were the ones that were the speed of light, or maybe it did, but I've forgotten because I'm forgetting a lot of my medical stuff. But yes, thank you, Dr. Ackland. That was a very good description, and I hope people think about what you were saying, because that is a very important thing. To the frequency that we're feeling, that's at the speed of light. That's not at the speed of sound, which is why nerve conduction, you can touch something hot, not even feel it for almost a second. But if at the speed of light, you would feel it almost before you touched it. So anyway, thank you. And I'm enjoying every meeting because I keep getting little bits. So I'm glad to be here.
Very good, Evelyn. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing your aspect, your insights. Thanks. So yeah, Jen, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I'm so moved by Evelyn because, as Michael and Tracy Joe and Dr. Ackland know, I have a daughter who's been dealing with the same issue without saying it, and chooses not to wear the patches. As much as I love her, I've learned to let go, let God. But anyway, thank God for 12 steps. And Tom has helped so many people, but we won't go back. I just loved your response to his. But the reason I raised my hand is I remembered what I was going to say. Today, I had a very dear friend of mine who lives out in Missouri, and he makes Native American flutes, and he's a very sacred, special man. He was on the patches for a couple of years and went off of them. And he came back to Tampa to visit because I knew him here. We used to do a lot of the gatherings, the Native American gatherings together. So he said to me that he was in bed for a month or two with arthritis pain that was so bad. And I said, I'm so sorry you didn't call me. I would have patched you. Do you have any pain today? Because I took him to lunch. Yes, I do. I patched him and he went, it's gone. It's gone. I said, yup. And I said, Michael has a Navy SEAL he had me work with. And he got up and walked out of my house after I patched him. And so a couple things, people. Dr. Tavoli, Dr. Tom, all of our group, we talk about stacking the patches. And there's another thing that my daughter Joy does, that she takes the ice wave, puts it on the shoulder that's really hurting. And if it's on the left, she puts the dark one on, the tan. But then one day she did the white around, it didn't work. She put it on the top of her opposite foot, pain stopped. I tried that with Larry, our Navy SEAL, boom, it stopped. So all these tricks that our team is gathering and creating, I mean, there's so many, and feel free to call me, anybody. I'm happy to share and Tom, it's the energy. It's, you know it at a much deeper level, but I agree, and it works. So for me, with my friend who's now signed back up under me, he's a brand under me again. Michael, you'll be happy for that. But anyway, he is, he's going to be using all these different patches, and he hadn't been. And Eon, I told him, you need Eon. And if you put Eon at the right under your hairline, not at where you put the X39, but just above it an inch or two, that I learned last year is a bundle of muscles that goes throughout your whole body. So at night, I go to bed with the Eon right there below my hairline, and I'm calming everything down the whole night. And then Lynn, when she was just talking about how it calmed her down. Lynn, you came to Michael because the Eon and the X39 allowed you to feel again and cry and emotions. There, I was waiting for your hand to go up. I knew it would. So She's got her story on it. But one other thing, I had that problem with my feet and pain, blah, blah, blah. You know, people get it when you get this old. Nerve pain, I guess you call it. I'm not kidding. I have no pain at all. I can still feel a different muscle on it. And that's what I was saying to my friend Richard, because he's got that. And we were patching him on the feet. It's amazing when you wear the patches every day. If I just wore the X39, 49, and then during the day and Eon at night, I'm not kidding. You don't have to wear anything else. It can help, but you don't have to. If you could just wear the X39 every day, I promise you something will shift. And finally, we were talking about who was it that's got new dreams, better dreams now? Patrick, your dreams are better, right? Well, Alavita, put it right there. People are saying they have incredible awakenings with that. It opens up the pituitary gland and all. So, enough said. I'm done. Go for it, Lynn. Love you guys.
Good, Lynn. Thanks, Jen.
So yes, when I first started, so I've been on the patches now. I started 2 years in January is how long. And before I started on the patches, I was so severely harmed as a little girl that I had chronic long-term PTSD and anxiety that was off the charts. And when I started the patches, the reason that the Lord told me to start them was I was concerned about shedding from the COVID vax. And I'd heard on Michael, you had David Schmidt on, and he said that on that show that the X39 turned around damage from the vax and protected from vax shedding. So that's why I bought it. And I started wearing it, and it was the X39 and the Eon. And within 3 days, because I'd had to stop feeling as a little girl because the children who felt didn't survive. Their feelings overwhelmed their little bodies and they didn't make it. So I learned to stop feeling. And I've been working on feelings and getting better. It was really hard work. And I started on the patches, and in 3 days, I was driving my car and I was overwhelmed with these huge feelings of happiness and hope. And it was new to me, and I was astounded. And I thought, is this how people feel? This is good. This is the good stuff. And I pulled my car over and I sat there and I felt for 30 minutes, and it was amazing. And it's been just like compound interest in a bank. And in the first month, the PTSD and anxiety went down 70%. And it's like compound interest in the bank. I'm getting better and better and better and better. And I say this often, I know we can't make guarantees. I have many people that reach out to me with trauma, vets, law enforcement, all kinds of reasons for trauma. Trauma's trauma. And 100% of them feel some level of relief month one with that X39 and Eon patch. And for those with trauma, a bit of relief is huge and life-changing, and then it just keeps getting better and better and better. And people are telling me, I feel happy, I feel hope, and they had not felt that for years. So I love what we do. And I believe it's groundbreaking in the mental health field. I don't know anything else that does this with no drugs, no chemicals. And it's astounding how we are literally changing the world one patch at a time.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So the nerve action is one of the things I learned as a martial artist, and I taught all the people in the SEAL teams and other groups. The nerve action, when I hit certain targets, it goes to the spine and it goes right back, and you have a reaction. The brain doesn't get involved. So once I start that nerve action reaction process, I have complete control of someone. And if I have a group of people around me, I'm going to control all of them. So you're overcoming that nerve problem that has, something has triggered your nervous system, and the patches basically bypass that, like Dr. Tom's talking about, through light. So it's another level. So the manipulation that's going on in your body with the nerve action is being bypassed. So for instance, Evelyn was talking about how you could burn yourself and you don't really realize it right away. It's because the nerve action goes right to the spine and right back. So you'll get burned, or you cut yourself and you'll look at it. And that's because the brain doesn't understand what's happening, because it's what happened there, and you have to look at it. So that's a beauty. these patches, it's on an incredible another level that even a guy like me that can manipulate your energy, it bypasses even that. So it's fantastic.
Amazing.
Yeah, Susan.
Okay, I don't have much to report on myself. I'm about 9 months in, and I'm getting better sleep, but I'm a mess, and it's taking me 50 of the last 75 years to get into the mess that I'm in. So I figure it's going to take me a year or two to get out of some of it. But anyway, I keep trying, and I guess I live around a lot of skeptics. I keep trying to get people to try them. My granddaughter has, terrible migraines, and she won't try it. And I just had frustration trying to get people to try. But I'm grateful because several people have talked about the detox effect, and I had given my daughter-in-law's mother a slip of the X39 for Christmas because I felt I owed her something. I won't get into all of that. But anyway, she tried it a few days and she said, oh, they made me feel terrible. So I stopped using them. And she just wasn't going to bother herself. And after I heard several people talk about detox effect, I went back to her and said, please don't give up on those. Don't just give them back to me. Keep that sleeve, try it, but sneak up on it. Use it for a few hours here, a few hours there, and gradually build back up. And thank goodness she was willing to try it again because she's finally feeling some relief. And she has her personal trainer trying them also. So I feel like somebody's finally listening. And I just wanted to say I was grateful that y'all talked about toxicity because I feel like I got her ear, and she's one of those people that has that eye problem that requires shots, among other things. And I wish she would just stick to it long enough to give herself a chance to find out that they can make a difference.
Fantastic, Susan. Yeah, that's it is frustrating for all of us because we know the power of the patch, but convincing people is some kind of mental disconnect or some kind of mental control that people have over them that they just can't break free and try something that's very simple. You'll be like, I remember when I first picked the patch up, I was like, no way. It's like, and then I remembered, oh, this is something that the SEAL teams have used long ago. So this is something I've always wanted to use. So boom, I'm all over it. So sharing that information, as you know, everyone has been sharing your information here. It's stupendous. What Dr. Tom revealed today was stupendous. Opened up a lot of a lot of understanding for me, just his conversation. So that's what I love about this. So over on YouTube, there's a huge audience over there watching live. So we're reaching a lot of people, but we should be reaching a lot more, and it is a challenge. But just sharing, doing the things that we do here, I salute everybody here that comes in and shares, because you're helping other people find something that could be extremely valuable and potentially life-saving, right? So thanks everybody that shared. Dr. Tom, thanks for coming in. Fantastic reveals, and from everybody, lots of love to you, and we'll see you guys next time.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank
Tom.
you.
Thanks, everybody.
Amazing shares.
Thank you.
Everyone.
Thank you, Dr.
You
Tom.
guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome, Sally.
Be
God
here.
bless you. Thank you, everybody.
We fell back an hour, went forward an hour, Sally. Sorry you missed us.
Uh-huh.